Okay, so did y'all see this? Did y'all see Oklahoma getting another visit from one of probably, I'm going to say, one of the most elite tight ends in this 2025 class? And you guys are going to have to see exactly what I mean by that. And also, Oklahoma's just shaping up really good with the majority of the tight ends, the top tight ends. And you could see Joe John Finley, Seth Luttrell, and this offensive staff completely reshaping that room from what we have seen in previous years. And before we dive into it, y'all know the drill. Thank you for tuning into the PG Show, where we talk about all things Oklahoma athletics, and we're going to stay true to the roots. Talk about football recruiting. Additionally, if you haven't already, you just need to hit that like and you need to hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, and I want you guys to come be a part of it. But we saw the Oklahoma Sooners. They're getting a visit again from another elite offensive lineman. And this one, you see it with the tight end Chase Lofton. Now, this name might sound familiar with you. One, because, well, Jay over at the Sooner or Later Sports podcast, he also does Unfair Sports, just made a video on him. We've talked about it many a times on this podcast. We've even shown you guys video footage, and we're about to put that back up here again of what he was able to do at the Brent Venables camp and then just what he previously did in the season. But Chase Lofton is a 6'5.5", let's just say 6'6" for good measure, 215 tight end out of Omaha, Nebraska. And let me tell you, Chase Lofton is a prospect that Oklahoma sits good with him. And if Oklahoma doesn't hit on one of these top-tier prospects like a Nate Roberts or a Lincoln Cure or a Deshaun Brain, guys like that they want, listen, Chase Lofton is going to be sitting right there in Joe John Finley's bag to be able to go out there and grab. That's the kind of relationship that this current OU staff has with Chase Lofton. It's a very good one, and one that if he was an immediate take, I would honestly predict for him to end up in the Oklahoma Sooners class. And of course, we're just all hypothetically thinking this, right? Maybe he is 100% a take, and it's more so just getting him on campus for an official visit. Now, Oklahoma being one of his first offers, you're still going to have to contend with the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Being from the state, that's an important thing for a lot of these kids, right? A lot of Nebraska kids, they know the history of Nebraska, and they would like to help make Nebraska great again. So, and Dylan Raiola being out there right now, that is something that we should not overlook. Dylan Raiola is going to do whatever he can to recruit elite offensive players to be weapons for him to kind of help get Nebraska back to where they used to be. But as you guys can see right here, he's going to be coming to Oklahoma on March 4th, Nebraska on March 24th, Texas A&M on March 30th, Miami on April 9th, and Florida State on April 12th. Now, Jay said, hey, it's bag schools. Okay, I see what you mean, Jay. I'm going to say it ain't because of the bag schools, right? Chase Lofton is that talented, and these schools are going to want Chase Lofton. And you're going to see even more schools try to get in the mix, especially as some of their top-tier tight end prospects maybe fall out of reach for them. You're going to see them kind of evaluate some more talent. They're going to see Chase Lofton, especially as Chase Lofton attends more camps. They're going to send those offers out. So what is Chase Lofton, right? What could he bring to the Oklahoma Sooners? And as you're going to see right here in this video, right, he just runs a good route, right? He's able to make defenders miss. He's able to make good cuts. And I forget, I got to keep pressing play on the video, but he did attend the Brent Venables camp last year, which is actually where he got the offer, where a lot of Oklahoma fans ended up becoming familiar with the name Chase Lofton. But again, when you watch his film, right, when you watch what he's able to do, Chase Lofton, he's a prospect that, again, I think would be very good for Oklahoma, very good for Jackson Arnold because of his size. He doesn't have, like, the burn-you quickness, but with that size, you're going to be able to beat a lot of people. Now, looking at some of the other prospects here for the tight ends in 2025, where does Oklahoma sit? Obviously, Nate Roberts, again, it would not be shocking at this point to see Nate Roberts commit to Ohio State, right? I think a lot of Oklahoma fans have probably accepted that. You know that's the case. At the end of the day, it's does he end up signing with Ohio State when he ends up committing there, if he ends up committing there, right? Because we've seen it so many times where kids are from a state, they commit somewhere else, and then by signing day, they're like, I think my heart's home, right? And then they end up decommitting, signing where home is. I think Nate Roberts could potentially be in that situation. There also could be a thing where maybe the staff just decides to move on, right? If you get Lincoln Cure, right, and then let's say you go out and get Chase Lofton, and you don't get Deshaun Brame, right? So you get Chase Lofton. Do they still take Nate Roberts? Right? That's kind of where I'm at. So obviously, if you're an Oklahoma fan, you're expecting Nate Roberts to commit to Ohio State. But the question is, does he sit there, right? Does he sign there? Deshaun Brame, you've seen the predictions into the University of Oregon. Oklahoma still sits in a really good spot there. The big deal is, and the reason why you're seeing Oregon come into a lot of these prospects out of Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, even trying to get into Oklahoma, because last cycle they got Sadavian Simpson, because Dan Lanning's from the Kansas area, right? He's from this region. He knows it very well, and he would love for Oregon to recruit this area really well, especially going to the Big Ten. Then, not to mention, you got Lincoln Cure, right? Probably one of the most coveted tight ends that a lot of Oklahoma fans want in this class at 6'6", 220 out of Goodland, Kansas. A guy that probably is going to end up as a 5-star by the end of this cycle. Could be the #1 tight end in the class. Lincoln Cure is a guy where you land him, you match him up with what you already got in Devon Mitchell. Maybe you get one of these other guys. Oklahoma's tight end room, it looks a lot different. And it's a tight end room that's a lot more dangerous than what it has been in previous years. It's a tight end room that, quite honestly, not going to say it's at Georgia level. It's starting to get there. So Chase Lofton says he's going to be visiting Oklahoma on March 4th. We're still looking to see, when does a Lincoln Cure come on campus, maybe for an official, Deshaun Brame, Nate Roberts. I think we expect Nate Roberts to be on campus multiple times this year because his brother Jake Roberts is going to be playing tight end at Oklahoma. That's another aspect in that recruitment that we got to watch. But Chase Lofton, he is a prospect that is exciting. And if you're an Oklahoma fan, you're kind of crossing your fingers saying, hey, maybe we can get this guy to commit, right? Maybe some of these other top prospects that we're looking at, they're not necessarily 100% guaranteed. But if we sit in as good of a spot as you say we do with Chase Lofton, maybe we go out there, we get him committed, we get Kevin Sperry, Michael Hawkins, Brandon Zerbrug, Jackson Arnold, some more weapons, and this class starts to fill up a little bit more. But guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like, you hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to those 10,000 subscribers. And hey, if you haven't already, need to join the discussion. YouTube wants you guys to watch one of these videos, so make sure you guys tune in there.